Maybe you can keep going down here. And he doesn't really have any, there's no other plots or anything with it. And with these other ones, they look like they just continue. This one does have a quest update here. So if you say that, you know, it doesn't have any conditions, so everybody sees this, you can say, well, take your time, I need you ready to fight. He will reply with something, and it sets a script, it sets a script value, where this is part of some kind of quest where Ogren joins you, and then at the bottom here, it's going to make sure that it's still set, because some of these other lines might be, like this one here, if you jump to target, it starts here, which is below where this is set. So if you see what's going on, if you follow this tree all the way down, you're going to get the same value set twice. But if you come in from a different tree, you're only going to get it set once. It doesn't matter how many times it's set, we just need to make sure it's set for everybody. So that's why they have it at the bottom of the tree. This one's probably redundant and it's not necessary since it still follows down to the same end, but it doesn't really matter. So you can see it's a lot like Neverwinter Nights 2 in some ways, but in other ways it's a little more polished because it's a lot easier to just go down to the condition, and we can just go to global, generic, go to class, race, and gender backgrounds, and then we can say I only want this to appear if the person is female, and that is true. And now it's got a condition set. So the only person after this line, the only person that will see this will be a female. A male character will get a end of conversation very abruptly. So we wouldn't actually want to have this on a real conversation unless we also right-click Insert Line and had something for everybody. You always want to have a generic option if you have a condition. Otherwise, sometimes, you know, things can be there that are unforeseen. So if you had a list of options and some of them were for different races, you had an option for humans, an option for elves, an option for dwarves, etc. And then somebody introduced a mod that had gnomes. Well, you didn't foresee having gnomes. And so if you had a condition for everybody and you didn't have a generic condition, then the gnome wouldn't work with your mod. So it's just something that you have to keep in mind. Always have a generic one, even if you don't think there's ever going to be a possibility for there to be a generic, for there to be a need for the generic option. Always have one. So that's just a random tip when making these. So pretty much it's the same as Neverwinter Nights 2. You right click, you insert line. You can also, if you have a cinematic event going on, you can right click, you can preview the line. Well, you can preview that anyway. We'll just do that now. Sometimes it takes.
Where do you think you're going? We've got work to do.
Now, it has the default human male for everybody. You can, if you really wanted to, you can go and change what everybody looks like. So you could change what the generic view was, but it's not really a big deal. You can also, when you make, let me just make a new node here. So this is just going to be a basic thing. We will say, hello, how are you? And then the player can reply with not bad. And I'm leaving. Okay, and then he will reply with okay, whatever. And then I'm going to copy this. I'm going to insert an end dialog line. I will copy this and I will paste as a link. Okay, so not all that complicated or anything, but until we save, if you look down here, it's got ID equals -1. If I were to save this, it would give me an ID like a really long number like this. Actually, even longer than this, because this is included in the game, so they have all the very early on IDs. So until we save it, and I'm not going to save it because I'm editing a main file here, but until we save it, it's going to be -1. And if you go to the owner, you can also check out the cinematics. You can add an animation. If you wanted to attach a cutscene to one of these, then all you would have to do is go up to edit, and then you would want to associate the line with a cutscene. But we haven't done anything with cutscenes yet, so I'll just leave it at that, because any more detail about that in the tutorial would have to go a lot longer. And I'm already starting to get a weak voice from all this talking. So I'm just going to close this out. And I'm going to search for tutorial, dialogue. Found a bunch of other stuff. Okay, so this is a dialogue tutorial that I made earlier. If you wanted to, say, expand all of these, you have the options up here to expand all. You can also just collapse single branches. So if you selected this and you just collapse branch, then that just collapses the one branch.